5, 4.
Welcome back. So you all sort of now realize, oh yeah, that's how last night went. That's why we're here. And he's like, look, you're not. We already talked to them, and just based on the way that they tried to tell it, and based on looking at you guys, we know they're full of shit. But they had the money, they paid their fines, but they also, we don't know what they did with the money we paid them for the job. I'll let the council lady talk to you. I'll be right back. So he turns around and he hustles on out of the room.
Nope, I cannot go on top of the tiger.
Let me try this.
That did it.
Okay. He will now always be in the back since you're smaller.
Also, by the way, I don't know if y'all caught it earlier, but I am currently sitting on Hugo because I don't want to touch this floor once I woke up.
Okay. Well, they did make every effort to make sure that the floor was clean in there, and like they were respectful with you guys. So
I just curbed somebody.
Yeah, they were really worried about things. So when they came in and they were like, "You're gonna have to leave your weapons," you have to. So if y'all
I didn't need mine with that captain.
if y'all mentioned anything. So basically, if you mentioned, "Hey, I need to it needs to be clean in here," they would have been like, "Okay, we'll make sure it is." Or if you'd said, which I'm pretty sure Tala did, "The tiger stays with me," I'm like, "Oh, okay, you can have the tiger." So the guard's gone. Maybe a minute. Y'all can move around a little bit, look around if you want.
Board.
The bones actually in there?
No.
That's good.
These bones are not there. The chains are up against the wall, and the only other thing is some hay. It is clean hay. It looks like it was freshly brought in last night. Over here, it's a little less cleanly. There's some spider webs and cobwebs in the corner, and there are on the table are the guard's keys, a dagger stuck in the table. There's his book that he looked like he was trying to read, and it's closed down, but only on the 3rd page. And it looks like he's been trying to read it for a long, long time. There's torches in here giving y'all lights. You can see everything. There's no windows or anything. He's gone for about a minute.
Apparently, hang on a moment, because I think that Rana needs to go to the bathroom. She just wrote that she's going pissy-back.
Pissy-back? I wrote piggyback.
Let me see that.
That says piggyback.
That says pissy.
That says piggy.
That says piggy.
It says pissy. I see 2 S's.
Listen. Well, if you want a pissy back, you can have one, but that's weird.
I said I didn't want to do that.
Do not agitate the man. It is not his fault he has difficulties
Not in that kind of water sports.
words.
Jeez.
You need to learn to write with a little less curlies then. Maybe connect those G's. So a man of my stature can understand what you're trying to communicate.
Anyway.
As Hugo's looking at this letter that he got in utter confusion and sort of points out to the corner where the hay is, and then you just sort of look angrily at it, and you're like,
It's just...
and you point at it. He doesn't seem to get what you're saying at first. The guard comes back in. He opens the door, and this lady walks in.
Tired.
Damn, she's here.
She has a wand in her hand. I'm just showing it to you. And this is the guy whose token got lost. He's got on a chainmail shirt that's glowing with magic. And he's got on a chainmail coif. He has what looks to be a one-handed warhammer and a shield with him.
I can't help but
And
notice
he's clearly looks like he's... Huh?
I can't help but notice that your headphones are the same color as like the magic glowing chainmail.
Yes, that is correct. So he comes in and he points out and says, well, and he's talking to her and he says, see, they can do it. He's making no effort to hide what he's saying. She looks over and she goes and tries to open the door and are they still locked in there? And he goes, oh, sorry, and runs over and gets the keys, and he unlocks the cell for you guys and opens it up. You move freely. He says, come along, come out, we'll have a chat.
And Tiger bounds out.
As Salvus rushes out at her, I am moving right back there. The thing does, this guy immediately steps in front and has his shield at the ready. And Salvus just sort of...
All right.
So I was going to do one of those the pivots, and go over here.
He goes that way. He sort of washes the tiger and then just sort of goes back to an at ease stance, and then suddenly stretches sideways.
I gotta carry Rana piggyback.
I have already hopped on your back.
She looks at each of you and goes. She says, "It doesn't appear that any of you managed to even get hurt. You seem definitely more capable than those mercenaries. Blasted fools."
That they were, ma'am. They ruined a perfectly good scripture of Iomedae.
Well, I'm certain that we could see to getting you a replacement, even a brand new copy. But the problem is that they were here for a reason, and now they've just run off, and I have nobody who can help me with our problem our town's having. My guard captain here wishes to do it himself, but I do not believe any one person can handle it. And he just sort of looks really irritated at that. He looks over and he goes, and he looks over and he goes, "Somebody has to defend the town, ma'am." He goes, "Oh, posh. Whatever." She says, if you'll come a little closer so I don't have to shout in there, why are you wearing a mask?" She says over to Silverblood.
Why aren't you?
It's not your concern.
No, actually, ma'am, I think that's part of his face. I'm gonna carry her over and take a seat here.
Okay.
Sonny,
So come have a seat if you wish.
I'd like to have a seat.
So the guard moves quickly. The regular guard quickly gets out of your way as soon as you say anything. And the guy with the magical chainmail sword just looks at him. And looks over to Silverblood and is like, you can come out. You can come out of there if you like. You don't have to stay in there. The door's open.
What
she takes a
pudding in our laps, if you will.
She takes a seat and she says, "We've had some problems, and simply put, we would be in your debt, and we were willing to pay those mercenaries quite a sum, but they took some of it up front, and we have less to pay with now. However, we would be able to help you. We saw your monastery as you came in. We talked to them. They were lovely people. And if there's anything that any of our carpenters can do or build any additions for it, we'd be happy to do that." As Salvus gets uncomfortably close to the guard captain, he sort of looks down and eyes Salvus. And it's like, he's clearly keeping watch on each of you, but he's a little more unnerved by the tiger than anything else. The councilwoman continues on now, and she says, "I also have this wand here that we'd be willing to give you for it." She sets it down. It's the wand that she came in carrying when she was asking if any of you were hurt. She says, "It's not much, but it is in addition to the 1,000 gold pieces we were able to raise. We will be able to give that to you as a prize. What has happened is our outlying farm has had several kidnappings lately. It's always when one of the workers is in the furthest parts of the fields, and there was some evidence of... Initially, we had problems with kobolds many years ago, and we haven't really had a tracker, so we think that it must be the same thing, even though we attempted to wipe them out before. One of the reasons that I am entreating you and am willing to give you this is because one of those taken, the most recent, was a guard who was my son. And I do not know where he's gone." And the guard captain sort of looks over and is like, "If he was taken, I don't think it was kobolds, as I keep saying. I don't care how many there were. It wasn't kobolds." And she looks over and goes, "Well, there's nothing else out there but the crocodiles, and he didn't get eaten by a bloody crocodile."
No.
So as you do your...
Eaten by a crocodile, it's not bloody. That is correct.
As you do your sense motive, you can tell that she is completely being honest with you, except maybe one little thing. Everything she said is the truth, but it doesn't feel like she said everything she knows. The guard captain seems almost like he's wanting her to say everything else because you got such a good sense motive.
So you're asking me to risk the lives of these fine people here, possibly my caravan, for a wand, 1,000 gold. If we're to do that, I need you to be completely
because it'd be the
honest
right thing. She looks down, and the guard captain looks over at her, and you can see that he's sort of smirking, and he's like, I told you they wouldn't buy that. Just tell them. And she goes, fine. There was an incident. Our previous guard captain has left and joined a crew of bandits. They have a group of ramshackle huts, and there are too many for us to deal with. We think that it's either those kobolds or the bandits. The bandits hadn't done anything to the town yet, so we left them alone. We thought that since he was from the town, he would continue to leave the town alone, and we didn't bother anymore. We have a general idea of where it's from based on where they've attacked the caravans, and we assumed that if we left them alone, they would leave us alone, but it seems that they have gone back on us.
Bless you.
And she looks over at the guard captain and is just like, I still think it's the bloody kobolds, though. And this says, I'm telling you, it wasn't kobolds. And she says, this is a timely matter, however, because of the fact that my son was taken nearly 2 days ago. We had actually called out for those mercenaries before that happened. And we had paid them half up front. So they made off with 1,000 gold because we did not have the time to be able to deal with them or find where they'd hidden it. They may have sent it on ahead. And they've all left the town now that we let them all go because they paid half of their stuff.
Now, what do you have that is valuable here that bandits might want?
It's not what we have. It's what the traders have. As you know, we're on a trade route here, and while it's not the most affluent trade route, we still have traders come through, usually ones who have found things in neighboring caves. There are many caves nearby that are rich in ores and metals that are hard to find elsewhere. Because of the swampy region, not many people want to send miners out, especially with the crocodiles. There are still paths through the swamps.
And everything is rather hunky-dory with you and your son?
Yes, I have no issues with my son. Are you going to make a new sense motive on that? She is very stiff in her mannerisms about that. It's clear that she does not approve. It's clear she doesn't approve of something with her son, whether that's about what happened and she's nervous, whether it's about him being a guard in the first place, or something entirely different. You're not quite sure, but you can press.
No recent arguments?
Of course we had arguments. We're family.
Recent.
He was supposed to be working his way towards being a counselor, not a god. I've told him this so many times and he just doesn't listen.
Did he leave on his own accord?
I don't believe so, unless we want to add abandonment of duty to disappointing his mother along with things that I'm irritating him with. He was supposed to be assigned to that outpost of a farm as the guard for it, so that no more of the laborers went missing.
All right, well, if you would be so kind as to excuse yourself and these two gentlemen here, I believe my fellows here have a bit to discuss before we make our decision.
Very well. I will leave the guard captain outside. She picks the wand up and she hands it to the guard captain. If you accept, you can take the wand as your down payment. If not, then be on your way. Hey. She turns away and she walks out. She seems rather irritated at the way you pressed her on a few things. The other guard sort of starts to hustle up and goes, "Oh, your weapons and things, and he fumbles with the keys for a second. And there's a chest over in this corner, and he takes one of the keys off it and just sets it on the table and just says, "Leave the key in the chest when you're done. Either way, you get your things back." And he turns around. He turns around and leaves. And the captain with the glowing chainmail, he looks over and he waits. He starts to turn as they had started to leave, as if he was going with them, and waited for them to leave the room. So he took a step, and then he stepped right back in. He just looked over and says, "I'm not sure what's taking people, but it's not the damned crocodiles, and it's not any damned kobolds. So whatever you do, if you decide to help us out, don't expect that." And then he walks out.
Thank you.
If you want a sense motive on that?
No, not yet. I'll check him out later. All right.
As Salvus tries to follow out the door, he steps out of the door and he just pushes the door so that Salvus has to get pushed back by the door.
So
I don't care.
Silverblood, what do you think?
I think this woman is too controlling of her son, and you could make a fine family counselor one day.
Counseling ain't my thing.
Well, I honestly think something is afoot here.
I agree.
Hey, are kobolds lizard folk type things?
Yes.
Well,
I mean, I'm always up for beating the crap out of some kobolds, but
well,
I mean, I don't care either way.
The guard captain just
very much
"It's not!" The guard captain just goes, "It's not kobolds!"
we're likely dealing with.
But I mean, swamplands, lizard folk, you know.
We're likely dealing with something smart here. Kobolds ain't smart,
No, kobolds ain't smart. Pretty.
and
Damn
we're likely
tough.
dealing with some family matters here.
Indeed.
Do you think that this is worth 1,000 gold and a stick?
Oh, we don't know what it is, do we? Here, hold on.
No, it's a wand of cure light wounds.
Yeah, we know what it is, but I didn't know if he knows what it is.
Hell no, I don't.
Yeah,
know
she
what
said
is.
it.
It's a stick.
It's a wand of cure light wounds.
It's
A very magical stick.
It's a magical stick.
Well, at
Well,
present,
I got one of those in my pants, but you don't see me waving it around in your face.
And I thank you for that.
That's got unlimited charges. So what I'm saying is, do you think this is worth it?
wait, I don't see that on your character sheet, Hugo. We're gonna have to add it in.
That you're gonna find in the book of erotic fantasy.
Who knows? A door could lead to many rooms. Perhaps we should open it.
No, that door just takes us out to the hallway.
Okay.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Who we're talking to here?
Oh, you have a low score in intelligence.
So,
I mean, I don't
yes,
care either way. I mean, if you want to go for it, we can.
Let us do this.
all right. So I have one yes, one hell if I know, and a thumbs up. I'll take that as a yes. Tiger.
All right, so what does it do?
Share that picture, Ty.
It rolls over on its back and does her.
I think I can take that as a yes. Alright, well, I guess we have some more information to get. Somebody take that stick. Let's go talk to that guard with the glowy shirt.
Salvus grabs the stick. Salvus plays good fetch.
Okay, so as you go out and open the door, guard captain guy's there. He clearly wasn't listening in. He was just waiting for you. And he says, "So, what have you guys decided? I'm just gonna do this in here for right now because of the annoying way the she carries her." So he looks to you and he says, "So, are you going to assist us?"
He's holding the tiger's holding the wand in his mouth.
Looks like it. I do have some questions for you. You seem to be more informed on the matter.
Yes, well, I was in charge of this before I was forced to guard the walls instead. And he goes, "You may want to get your equipment."
Oh yeah, we didn't do that yet, did we?
Get to it. I wanted to talk to you first.
Ask away.
If it's not kobold, and it ain't crocodiles, might haps is it these bandits or something else?
I'm gonna go get our stuff.
Based on how the bandits have made their raids before, I don't think the bandits were particularly involved in this. However, there was something else out there recently. We believe it's some person. We don't know why they're there. We don't know what they're doing. But we've seen evidence of campfires in areas that we've not seen them before. It's been on for a week or two. But since the kidnapping started about 5 weeks ago, and we already had one adventurer come through and decide it was a knight of some sort, I believe. I'm not sure what town they came from. They're wearing plate mail, very shiny, very polished, clearly never been into battle before. And they ran off and said, "Oh, they'll handle it." Never heard from them again. So, had it been kobolds, I think that we would have at least seen something back before they got killed. However, the bandits, it doesn't seem like something they would do. They wanted money so that they could spend it in the other tiny little towns that are nearby. They didn't seem like they wanted people. I don't see what they would get out of kidnapping anyone because there's been no ransoms. It makes no sense. But we don't know whatever or whoever is making those campfires. And we don't know who's been taking the people.
Footprints around them or anything?
It rained just before her son was taken, and we kept the scene as best as we could. It hasn't rained since, so there might be something that you can find there if you wish to investigate that. There are also, out at the farm, there are plenty of laborers out there. You can speak to them, but it was hard to tell because there were his footprints were there, and the way that the ground had been muddied up from whatever happened, it looked like there was a fight. And which makes sense because I don't believe he would have been dragged off without a fight. I trained him. He knew how to fight. But whatever it was better than he was.
All right. Do you have a location to set us off?
I can take you over to the farms if you'd like to speak to anyone there, or if you'd like to check out what may be left of any tracks. Otherwise, and he sets his one-handed warhammer down in a loop at his belt, and he takes out a small rolled-up scroll, and he just unfurls it and just shows it and says, "This is a map of the surrounding area." And he says, "The place that the kobolds used to be at is here." And he points out where there used to be a fort of some sort. And he says, "This has been abandoned for a long time, back when we were a main trade route several decades ago." And it says, "The kobolds took it over. We had a group of the guards go through and we wiped them out. There were caverns below there, but we haven't heard anything from them since. We thought we'd done a thorough job." I still think we did.
I like how Tala took a warning.
Not even noticing it.
As he sort of looks over and he notices that, and he's still continuing on. And says, "So
Give it."
Mind if I keep that map for the time being?
He hands it over to you and says, "That's where that is. And I've made a few markings on there that show the direction we believe the campfires came from. We don't know exactly how far out, but there are paths in the swamps in that area. So I would assume that anybody who's not familiar with the area would stay somewhere near the paths." And then he says, "Other than that, I'm not sure what else I can help you with."
Well, do you have any sort of shop that could provide us with some much needed potions?
We actually do have an alchemist in the town. I will alert him and let him know. Is there anything that you need made? that he might not normally stock. He usually only has very simple things such as potions of curing.
Well,
If there's anything that might take some time to make, I can go ahead and let him know while you head to the farms.
no, we don't have that time. It's quite all right.
All right. So he says, all right, well, I'll lead you all to the farms then. So,
All right, well, we have our stuff now, so we
yes,
shall
you
follow.
go ahead and you get your things out of the chest. You leave the key in there.
I would actually like to leave the key on the table with a note.
Okay, you're going to leave the key on the table with a note.
Yeah, and it's just gonna say, "I remember your face." Signed, H.J.
The guard goes back later that night and reads over and is like, what? My face.
Oh, what that means?
HJ? Is he coming on to me?
I remember your face in my dreams.
Okay.
Hand job.
So the guard captain takes you through town. On the way, he pauses and points out the fountain. He doesn't really care about it. He just goes, this is the spring town's built around it. It's where we get all our water from. He just completely glosses over it. He doesn't care.
Now,
And he says, this is, yes, as you get past it. So this is just, you've gone a little ways past the town square. You've continued on.
why is that such a big deal? Anybody
Oh,
tell
the
me?
swamp?
No, the water.
The swamp water outside, you can't drink it. You'll get hideously sick.
No, I get
For all those-
this well here, this spring.
It's the only,
It's the only
source
one
of
for a
fresh
long
water.
ways.
No, I get
Without a
that.
cleric on staff, we don't have any clerics here. Nobody can create water for us.
I understand that, but is there something about the water itself out of character, hinting at
Oh.
detect magic? If anybody has
No, it does not appear. It doesn't appear to be magic water. It does look like very clean water, very absolutely fresh water. If you decide to take a drink from it, you're like, it tastes like that Fiji spring water.
How the hell did this get carbonated?
Okay, we'll say it's special because it's carbonated. They have carbonated spring right in the middle of the water. Okay, so he lets you go ahead and fill up your water skins or anything you want with it as he takes you up to the farm and says, this is the Jenkins farm. It's the farthest one out, and you can see that not more than, say, 100, 200 yards out, you can actually see the swamp where the big trees and all the moss are growing in. You can see it starts to get marshy land out there. And he keeps marching along, and he's like, there's still several people working here. We've had the guards' presence updated. Several of them are with the council right now. And he points out one of the guards in the distance and says, there's our outrider, and there's a guard on a horse up there. And he points out another one and says, and there's our scout. And that guy's got a bow and arrow, and he goes, typically they just tell us if the crocodiles try to get near the farms. That's about it.
Did anybody see any of the events that happened?
We had one person who claimed that a dragon took somebody. It's plainly evident no dragon was ever here. There were no prints. We would have seen a bloody dragon. You know how these...
Mind if I talk to him?
He says, you know how these people are. He says, fine, I'll go ahead and find them. If you want to look at where the altercation happened, he points over in the field. He goes, it's behind that tree. So
To the tree!
he steps over.
She just like sticks out a wand and like floats over to the tree.
So
like,
I meant to pick up both
She-
of my tokens.
she apparently bolts to the tree.
Yeah.
And he just goes.
A tree in a town.
He
It's
wanders
like,
off.
to the tree!
He's clearly going to go find somebody. He's looking for somebody specific. You guys are free.
I'm just
This guy's
staying close
carrying-
enough. She doesn't get us in trouble.
This guy's carrying some wood
I want to make a nature check on the tree!
She identifies.
on the tree.
Just on around the
maple?
area.
It's
I'm
about
Okay.
13
No, I'm
years
trying
old.
Yeah,
I
it's.
gather it.
If anything
Are you
actually
are you
happened.
wanting? Are you wanting to look at the tracks and the scene of the crime, as it were?
I do, but I would do that with a perception first and a survival.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Your nature check tells you that this tree has been here for a long, long time.
Yes.
It is a completely mundane tree for this area. So your
Very
perception check,
guys.
tells you that the area does look like they've done their best to keep everyone away from it. Ground around it is very muddied, but you can clearly see that there's at least one set of prints that was alone here, right about here. And it looks like, as you start checking the prints more carefully with survival, that they clearly saw something and ran this way. And so as you get to about here, you can see another set of prints, and they appear to be uniformly made. So they don't look like bare feet prints. They look like boots, like plate mail boots have been there. So it looks like somebody in plate mail came from down this way and had an altercation here. It looks like there's a little bit of back and forth between both of them, like they were talking or squaring off or something. And then right here, right under the eaves of the tree, the area is just messed up. With part of your nature check, as you're looking at that tree, and now as you're looking at using your survival on the tree, you can see that there is a slash on the tree that looks very new. And it looks like it was taken with a big blade. So it was clearly something very big, probably a great sword. That's your assumption.
It's better.
So
Really went there.
as you're looking through and checking these things out, you realize that clearly the guard, who had to have been the one who came from the town, who was her son, got into a fight with somebody in plate mail who had a great sword. The strange thing is that it looks like he was not actually dragged off. There's only one set of footprints leaving, but they never mentioned that there was a body left or anything.
They could have carried him.
So nobody was dragged.
All right.
So are you going to just search that one area?
I'm waiting for the crazy person.
Where do the tracks lead to?
The tracks head out. I'll make you a little arrow.
All right.
Yeah, that way. The tracks head out that way.
Like,
So as you get closer and closer to the swamp, you can see areas where, you know how when it gets wet and then dries a little fast, like in the baking sun, and there's no grass around, it does that thing where the dirt like cakes up into plates. There's a little area of mud like that out there, and you can distinctly see. What's your perception there? Because your passive is a 25 perception. So do you want to roll perception?
Yeah, give me a second.
Oh, wrong thing. Silverblood, are you just hanging out at the beginning of town looking mysterious?
Just hanging out, observing.
Probably practicing his cape block.
Yeah.
Exactly. My passive.
You are really good at getting that passive perception down on your actual rolls. So you get out there and you clearly see there's only one of these that you can see that's left. There's a large, bigger than your foot anyways, reptilian
quite a bit.
print.
Of course.
Just one. None of the other pieces nearby look like they have one, but you're also really close to the swamp, and you know that just with your knowledge of nature that the swamp would have erased any other traces. I mean, it looks much older than that from the altercation with whatever happened down the tree and her son. It's the night.
Yeah,
The garden.
bro. Look what I found.
Nature check it.
Nature.
remember what my freaking nature is. 10. 10. I have to keep looking it up. I don't know this character very well. That's my nature check.
Okay, your passive is higher, but I think a nature check always has to be a made check.
It does.
It does.
So you're looking it over, and with your nature check, you're certain now that it's 3. You're certain of 3 things, and only these 3 things. It ain't a kobold, for sure. It ain't a dragon, but it's some sort of reptilian creature. And it's, okay, I'll give you a 4th. It's not a crocodile. You definitely know what a crocodile footprint looks like in these areas.
Damn, we're fighting ourselves a one-legged Kobo croc.
What you didn't know is that
What
you didn't know is that the area is actually infested with dire flamingos. And avians share so many qualities with reptiles that you couldn't tell the difference. It shrieks out of the underbrush at you.
A flash of nature big, and then it speaks. Hello there.
Hi. Do you want to join our club?
All right, so we got a crazy person.
Okay, so the guard captain comes over and he's got this guy and he says, "Hey, this is the Jenkins kid." He says he saw it. He says he saw a dragon, and it's a 13-year-old. He's like, "I did see a dragon. Okay, what else do you call something big, scaly that got all these teeth everywhere?" And he's like, "That's a reptile." It wasn't. It was a dragon. Okay, it had a tail and it could go on all 4s or it could stand up. It was a dragon.
Does it have wings?
Listen, kid. I need you to tell me exactly what you saw in the finest detail that you can remember. That's an intimidating. That's all I can do. I don't diplomacy.
As Hugo says this, he sort of squares his hat off a second. He kneels down so that he's like the exact same height as the kid. He just goes, "Look here," and he like takes hold of the kid's shirt and like pulls him so they're nose to nose, so that the brim of the hat is just touching
Caressing
the kid's top of his head.
Yeah.
Just touching it in like a tickling manner, and he says that. And the
He's
kids,
gonna make an intimidate check, and the kid's just gonna be like, "Dude, is that a tiger?"
the kid's eyes go. It had these scales on it, and it looked like it was like grayish, and it stood up and it like came and grabbed somebody, and then it just ran off into the swamp, and it was carrying him like that. But when it first came up, it was like on the ground on all 4s like a crocodile, and it was like what? I don't know what it was. A dragon. It had these big sharp teeth, but its skin was all like gray and cracked. I don't what. It was a dragon. I'm telling you, it's a dragon. I'm not lying.
Go ahead and give us this one.
What animal was it? That's a nature check.
Okay. You realize with your nature check, and your sense motive tells you that, yes, he is scared to death of you, and he thinks that he's going to get in trouble because everyone thinks he's lying about the dragon he saw. But he is absolutely telling you the truth as he believes it. He thinks it was a dragon.
While she's
However,
the story, I'm gonna let go of him. I'm looking over to the officer. And be like,
he quickly steps back behind him. Okay, so he goes, that's about when, as Tala's sitting there, and she's like,
collecting data.
Tala thinks for a second and then says, "Did it have wings?"
That's the first thing I asked.
Oh. Well, I missed it because you got talked over this. Yes. It didn't have wings. It was one of those land dragons. As he says this, you realize that he clearly doesn't know exactly what a dragon is, and he's definitely never seen a dragon before. All he knows is that he thinks a dragon is a big, scary, scaly creature with big fangs that looks like a crocodile that can walk. However, with your nature check, you're pretty sure that you know actually what it is. You are pretty sure that what he's talking about is a humanoid creature. It is reptilian, and especially something that caught your eye or caught your ear was when he was talking about the way it looked and the way its scales were. It sounds like he's talking about a creature that's called a troglodyte. You recall that some of these troglodytes are called stone troglodytes, and they are almost have a rock skin-like texture. And that they tend to favor rocky habitats. Rock troglodyte.
Yes.
So you believe your knowledge of nature makes you think that that's probably what it is, and that something like that would definitely have the strength to grab
So
a
okay,
normal
fine. Yes.
person.
You
from
saw
afar.
you saw a land dragon, but these land dragons are not called
And
dragons. They're
I
called
told
rock
you.
chocolate.
He's like tugging on the ground. I told you it was a dragon. I told you it was a dragon.
It's called a stone chocolate.
It's called a what?
I repeat it again.
Okay,
Stone.
repeat it.
What is it? Stone chocolate. You say it? I said chocolatite instead.
Okay, repeat
I'm
it.
just-
I want chocolate, apparently.
I don't care about
chocolate
what.
too.
It's a
I don't
stone
care
chocolate.
if you guys want chocolate. It's a dragon.
It's a chocolate.
Troglodyte.
Are you gonna make fun of me? I can't say these things.
Oh dear.
I can't
Okay.
stop for choosing something that's like an anemone.
Oh.
A troglo what now?
Troglodyte. It's a troglodyte.
Troglodyte.
So
stone troglodyte.
what you know of those that they like to inhabit caves, and as you mentioned that, the guard captain's like, troglodyte. We don't have troglodytes around here. And
Clearly
you're like,
did, because I saw the tracks.
and you're like, yeah, you do. And he's like, fine. Well, if it was a troglodyte, troglodytes probably could have done it. They're probably strong enough. The kid goes, see, I told you it was a chocolate dragon. And he runs off. A chocolate dragon. And he runs off.
That kid ain't gonna live here very long.
So the workers over here just doing their thing. This guy's still carrying his wood around.
Man, I can't help but
He's
notice
also got some logs over his shoulder.
fat. Super fat.
Now, don't be talking about that horse like that. That ain't right.
It has been eating a lot this
That's
season.
fine. It can do what it wants. It clearly doesn't run around a whole lot.
So the guard captain says, is there anyone else you want to talk to or anything else you want to do in the town? Or do you
No.
think you've got at least some sort of
I
direction?
gotta get back to my caravan, pick up a couple things, and then we're gonna be off. We're gonna take this by foot because I ain't heard no horses that can handle swamplands very well. You said it at Fort
Alright.
Caves.
Yes, it did.
I believe
We cleared the kobolds out of them ages ago.
We're going spelunking?
All right. So he
Now,
does he does point to the map that he gave you and says he shows it onto you and he says there's a few ways to get there. He says you could take a straight path there, but you're going through the worst of the swamps if you do that. And supposedly there's
don't wanna let me do that.
lots and lots of crocodiles there. I don't advise it. So he
The
says
least
does-
route.
he
We're in a
says
swamp.
the
Sweetheart,
to
I'm
the-
sorry. This is going to be a little tough for you.
he thinks for a moment and you can see that there's little paths laid out on it, but it doesn't really seem like it differentiates which path is like if it's a better path or something. He chooses one for you and he says, this one. He says it's near the direction of where we saw those campfires before. We went along that path to look for them, but I didn't find anything when I went. So if you happen to see anything, it might be out there. And then he says, this will not take you towards the bandits. And he points out where the bandits are. So on your map, I'm just going to use the little farm area as essentially to show you where everything is real quick. If you guys are about here on your map, the bandits, where they believe they are in that direction. where they've seen the campfires is out from that direction. There's a path that goes this way. The old fort that's abandoned and used to have the kobolds is there. The path, he says, this lower path, it's flooded over most of the season, and we're not in the dry season right now. So it'll probably be flooded. So he says, if you take the higher path, it goes along this way, and then it cuts down, and then approaches from that side. He says, that's the path I would suggest you take. You know that the typical paths that actually lead into and out of the village are like this, and this is how you came in, and the rest of the trade route is that way, which is why where they suspect
running
the
fire
bandit
flower.
camp. Yes.
I was totally
Or
feeling that.
it looks like a really weird spider with half of its abdomen gone.
Yeah.
So from here, you have your choice to make. He says, "I will leave you to it. It is up to you. I now have a pink dot on me for some reason, but I don't care. I'm the guard captain." So he walks off with his pink dot. And he leaves you to make your decision, and it is time for our second break.
Yep. All right.
So we will take our break. You can
Time to get
attempt
some
to
munchies.
check on the bandits. You can take the path, and if you want, you can divert and check the campfires, or you can try and go straight to the old fort. You can go there either of two ways. One is going to be a very nasty way, and it's swampy and ugly and gross. The other way is a much nicer path, and Rana will thank you and probably not hit all of you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I was
So,
thinking the best way to deal with that
we're on
is,
break now.
I know, but I was saying the best way to deal with